Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your Fanatic host, George Bueller. Hope everyone's had a lovely weekend, everything like that. And of course, if you're a Christian, happy Holy Week to you. And of course, for wrestling fans, more importantly, happy WrestleMania Eve. Don't forget to leave a sixer out for Stone Cold, or else you're going to get stunned. And of course, we got a lot of wonderful stuff to talk about. Comics, books, wrestling, all kinds of stuff. And I, of course, cannot talk about this without my anvil to the hitman over here, Mr. Manhammer, the old man complainer. Welcome, sir.
Hello, what's up? I don't know what this is. So this is just something I started doing, apparently. Waving both arms around. Yeah, I guess. Maybe I'm like, I wanted to feel like what those little car things outside of car lots feel like. Those big inflatables. Yeah. You know, maybe I want to do that. I don't know.
You're dancing like D. Reynolds. There you go.
I'm going to another Always Sunny rewatch, and it's like, yeah, I could, yeah.
By the way, July 9th. July 9th has been announced for the new season of Sunny.
Oh, sweet. Yes.
Yeah, and first episode is part 2 of the Abbott Elementary crossover, this time from the sunny side of things. And let me tell you, the trailer is hilarious. I can't wait.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, you know, I read it. Of course, all the gang are being interviewed for promotion, stuff like that. And Dee was being interviewed, and they basically flat out asked him, like, do you guys have any plans for when Danny DeVito passes away to cover that in the show? He's like, hell no. It's like, we don't have any plans for that stuff. It's like, we're not wishing for it for anyway. And when it happens, we'll figure it out. So.
And Danny DeVito's going to be like one of those dudes, like where he's still being Frank Reynolds at 98.
I hope so. I want that man to live to be. I don't want him to outlive me. Let's put it that way. I don't want to live in a world where Danny DeVito is not alive. So
I know, man, dude. Talk about an underrated guy in Hollywood. Like, he's an actor. He's a hell of a director. He's written some great movies. Throw Mama from the Train is probably one of the most underrated comedies, I think, of all time.
Damn right. That's a hilarious movie. Aaron!
Mama, you're alive. Old people, you have to reassure them. Death to Smoochie? Yeah, oh man. Death to Smoochie is an underrated movie directed by Danny DeVito. Yeah.
That was basically like the best answer to like the Barney hatred, in the 90s. So it's like, oh yeah, that was So exactly. Of course, a lot of
Ed Norton and Robin Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I forgot he directed Matilda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was hilarious. I saw there was a picture of. Oh, I can't remember the name of the actress who played Matilda in the movie. Like a picture of her as a little kid with Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman. And it's like, oh, look how they've all grown up. And then it shows a picture of Danny DeVito's actual daughter, who was not in Matilda. She is not an actress. Like at a red carpet event. It's like, oh, look how they grew up. It's like, that's not the same woman. It's like, oh, stupid. Anywho.
Oh.
All right. So how are you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. This is like wrestling fan Christmas, being WrestleMania weekend and all. So,
it really is.
Yeah, we're all hyped up about this. It's like, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, why are we on right now while SmackDown is on? But
good. Then again, Raw this week was really weak. It was already it was already a highlight show for WrestleMania.
Yeah. Let's get into that when we get into the meat of the show. But it's like, we don't want to jump the gun too much. But
Good point.
Yeah. But no, it's like we're still excited nonetheless. I'm going to watch the Hall of Fame tomorrow morning whenever I get up, and while I'm eating my breakfast and all them fun things. And then the Horseman's coming over tomorrow. Some other guests is coming. Our buddy Daniel, he's gonna come.
Oh, good.
There Saturday too. Yeah. So it's like we're gonna have a full house one day. But yeah, I already told the dogs that they're gonna have a lot of company, so they're excited to see everybody.
Yep, Mox is hype. I know. Hey, yeah. Mr. Bill Norris in the house.
Yes, what's up, Bill? Yes, yeah, we talked about the slow buildup of WrestleMania is what Bill's talking about.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, this week was a weird week for buildup for the go home week. So, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Of course, a couple of movie trailer things to talk about. I've posted both of these on the Fanatic Forum and the Friends of the Fanatic Forum pages, so you can check those out. Of course, if you guys haven't seen the brand new trailer for the Fantastic Four First Steps, this is the first full-length trailer. We finally get our first glimpse of the Silver Surfer.
Okay, I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing. They're doing a little bit of a swerve because they're using the Shala Ball version of the Silver Surfer. So,
okay.
Interesting thing. I don't know what that's leading to because there's a lot of people that are going AP online and say, oh, you gender swapped the Silver Surfer. Raise your hands if you never read Earth X, folks. Yeah, because in the future of the Marvel Universe, Norrin Rad moves up to a more godlike stature. Like he's dealing with like the bigger.
Oh yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, and then Shala becomes herald to Galactus towards the end, towards the last years of the Marvel Universe there. And so basically Shala's running around as the Surfer. Whereas Norrin's like in a completely like he's still silver, but no longer needs the board. He is like he's much higher plane sort of thing like that. So Earth X, Universe X, and Paradise X, a fantastic trilogy. That's Alex Ross, Jim Krueger. It's like the future of the Marvel Universe, kind of like at the end of time, sort of thing like that. Amazing trilogy. So definitely worth checking out. But yes, if you've not read that trilogy, Shala Ball is certainly the Silver Surfer. So, of course, this is a different universe. This is not the 616 that the Fantastic Four First Steps takes place in. So, there's a lot of differences going on here. But
so not to split nerd hairs though, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe is not 616 either.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's not. Yeah, the 616 is the comics. So
yeah. Is mainline Marvel Comics. There is a specific hold up, let me double check because there is a specific designation for the Marvel MCU.
Yeah, there is, but it's not six. Yeah, it's like it's a 4-digit number, I believe. I'm not sure. You figure it out.
Okay, yeah, hold on.
We're getting the Google machine on this one here.
Yeah. Okay, Google's saying it's 616, but it's not. So we'll come back to that. Yeah. We don't want to get too derailed Googling things.
Very true. Yeah.
That's a terrible show.
But anyway, I've got a really good source, and of course, no good journalist reveals their sources, but a very good source that has been correct pretty much since Endgame on speculating stuff that's going to happen in these movies, or like little bitty like here's a theme that's going to be running through this sort of stuff like that. So they don't reveal everything, but they do like this is some stuff to look for, this is some stuff to look for, and they've been right every damn time. So the big thing with Fantastic Four, what they're saying is that probably our post-credit scene is that the TVA is going to recruit the Fantastic Four to help out with the incursions throughout the multiverse and basically help them gather the rest of the anchor beings throughout the multiverse.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that basically that's how we get the Fantastic Four into the Marvel Cinematic.
Right.
So,
okay.
There you go. Yeah. The other trailer I posted, this one I just found out about yesterday. This is I don't know if it's going to be a series or if it's just an animated film that's going to be on Hulu, but for Predator fans, we get 2 gems this year because, of course, later in the year, I think it's in October, we get Predator Badlands, but an animated film called Killer of Killers. Now, this looks like it may have an anthology kind of aspect to it because there are scenes of people fighting predators during feudal Japan. So we have like samurais versus predators. We have a scene that we saw will look like an ancient Norse village. So Vikings versus predators. And then a scene that looks like it takes place during World War II, where we have pilots versus predator planes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dan Trachtenberg is behind this, same director that did Prey and is also doing Badlands. He's behind this animated film. The animation looks really cool. Like it's like nice.
Yeah.
Really high quality animation. So Yeah, both these trailers I posted on the Fanatic Forum page here on Facebook, and also on the Friends of the Fanatic Forum page on Facebook. So yeah, check those out if you guys haven't. It's a good year to be a geek, man.
Now the Badlands one, what is that one? The Predator set where?
Well, here's the thing. Originally, I thought it was supposed to be set during World War One, and it was supposed to be taking place kind of like in the no man's land sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
But I've also heard some stuff that we may actually see Yacha Prime, like the home world of the Predators, for the first time, and that possibly our protagonist in the movie is an actual Predator.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of details about this, and a lot of details are kind of scattered around. So I don't know an actual plot line for this yet, but I've heard a lot of ifs, ands, or buts.
So you haven't heard about the Secret Predator movie then that was also filmed apparently with Badlands, right? No, so yeah. So this is in addition to the animated movie then, because they released the poster of it and it looks killer. It was a couple of weeks ago. You can Google it and find it, but again, I'm not going to waste it. So it's like the silhouette of a predator, like his shadow being cast over a pirate treasure chest on an island. Right, like on a beach, right?
Interesting.
And it's like, oh shit, okay, predators versus pirates.
Huh.
Like, yeah, and yeah, it was filmed simultaneously, like in secret with Predator Badlands.
Wow.
So, yeah, and it was like because people have been talking about it like for I think about a month or so now.
Okay, I haven't heard anything.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
And then Dan Trachtenberg did talk about, of course, when he's been kind of promoting this new animated film that's coming out, because I believe that's coming out in end of April, May, something like that, pretty soon. But he's talking about he's trying to get an Aliens versus Predator project off the ground, and quote unquote, I want to do it the right way. And
I hope he succeeds.
Well, let's put it this way. Dan Trachtenberg won over an entire fan base with one friggin' movie. So I'm just saying, whatever he does next, basically as long as he keeps up the quality, the Predator fans are going to be with him. And then, if he can bring that same quality to an Aliens versus Predator movie and maybe stick to the original Dark Horse storyline, which was awesome, we could probably get a proper Aliens Predator movie.
I am also so glad too that they're starting to realize the potential of the Predator franchise, where for the 80s should have been friggin' littered with Predator sequels, just because Hollywood has these sets built all the time, so it's like, oh wow, it's like, hey, they do the Western, so they have Predator in a Western setting. And then it's like, their Southern Plantation movie, have, drop the Predator in there and make it like a Civil War epic. Yeah. The Predator has such a versatile character. You just drop him in various points in history.
That's the funny thing. It's what I hated about the Aliens versus Predators movies was like three things within the Aliens and Predator mythologies were completely ignored. One, both these films took place in the modern day. The xenomorphs were not discovered until the late 2400s, basically when the Nostromo landed on that planet and Kane got one through the face. That was the first time that humans discovered the xenomorphs. Two, predators hate the cold. The second Predator movie takes place in Antarctica. Predators weren't freaking out. They should have been.
Yeah.
They weren't freaking out. Because, for one, they can't see. They work with heat vision.
Right.
Snow,
Yeah, that's the point. They say the very first Predator movie, the Predator is attracted to heat and conflict.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course, because Yacha Prime is like a jungle. It's like a rainforest planet, basically.
Yeah.
So they like the heat, and cold is it's bad. And of course, it messes up the technology.
Yeah, they're reptilian.
Yes. And third and foremost, and this was established in the original Predator movie, predators don't attack unarmed people. It's a cheap shot. And what are they doing throughout both of those movies? Killing unarmed people left and right. Bullshit. So, I hated those three movies. Or the two movies, yes. But back to my original point, which I think I just lost. So, there you go. Never mind. So, hate Aliens versus Predator. That's the main point there. So hopefully Dan will do a proper Aliens versus Predator movie. So yes. Let's see. One other thing I want to talk about before I get to the comics. And that's it. Okay, that's it. We're going to comics.
Okay.
All right. Well, I got a couple of Marvel reviews for you this week here.
V, sorry to spoil it whenever you catch up with this one, but yeah, there's no Batman. George already spoiled it.
Yeah, no Batman this week. We do have a DC offering, but no Batman this week. Our next installment of the Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe is Godzilla versus the Hulk. This, as much as I loved the Fantastic Four one, this one brings it home, man. This takes place at the end of the 1970s. If you know your Hulk lore, that basically means we are in the period where Thunderbolt Ross thinks he's killed the Hulk. But in truth, he didn't. And Bruce Banner is literally hiding right in plain sight, working under his team. He's like one of his research scientists. So the friggin' Hulk is working for Thunderbolt Ross at this point. But he's basically trying to control the monster, control the beast. So we're seeing kind of the transition from the Savage Hulk right before we start to go into the Gray Hulk area. So we're still Savage, but he's not as stupid. But once again, we get great fights here. Lots of other cameos from other characters throughout the Marvel Universe, a couple of deep cuts, also some more kaiju cameos in this as well. So just a lot of fun. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that one out.
And then, of course, the next installment will be the Spider-Man versus Godzilla, which takes place in the 1980s. So that means Black Suit Spider-Man. So because normal Spider-Man probably wouldn't be as much of a challenge, but maybe in a symbiote, we'll see. And of course, we got later installments of the X-Men in the 90s, Avengers in the early 2000s, which means that's the Bendis run. So that's the new Avengers, which means you got like Sentry, Spider-Man, and Wolverine on the team. Yeah. And the last run is the Thor book, which supposedly is in the 2010s run, which is the Jason Aaron run, which could mean one of two things. Either it's Thor and Jane Foster Thor versus Godzilla, or the one that excites me even more, it's Old Man Thor with his 3 granddaughters at the end of time versus Godzilla.
Okay. Yeah. Godzilla at the end of time, man. That's kind of trippy.
Yeah. Because basically at the end of time, his Thor's granddaughters are kind of like carrying on the mission of still caring about the humans and being heroes and stuff like that. But Thor is basically in the Old Man Odin part of his tenure at this point.
Right.
So, and they never also revealed who are the father and mother to said granddaughters of Thor. So, they never revealed his kids that gave birth to his granddaughters. It's literally like, here they are, 3 daughters, 3 granddaughters, and they all have kind of like, one's a very, rough and tough. She's, let's, fight first, ask questions later. There's another one that's a bit more cunning, like Loki. And then you've got the other one that has a little bit more of the compassion, like Thor has for his beloved Midgardians. So,
Okay.
So they all kind of have different aspects of Thor within them. And of course, like I said, you got the one that has a little bit of her uncle in him. Our other Marvel offer here, and of course, this is a tie-in for the One World Under Doom storyline here, but this actually worked out really well. This is the Superior Avengers. So this is basically Dr. Doom essentially trying to get a group of Avengers from a timeline where Doom's monarchy over the entire Marvel Universe worked out. So he's got his kind of like ill-begotten bastard son who he's recently kind of let back into the fold. This is his mission, essentially, to find throughout the multiverse a particular group of Avengers or assemble a group of Avengers that basically is from the time period where Doom's reign worked, as opposed to people revolting against him. So he gets a group of Avengers here, but there's a bit of a caveat. Because maybe the timeline they were grabbed from wasn't quite the timeline Doom was looking for. But an interesting array of people here. So we've got right here, So actually, I forget who this person is on the right here. I forget who this one is here. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the superior Dr. Octopus right there. But
okay.
What's this? That's Ghost. That's the Abomination.
Really?
Yeah. But he's normal human. He's in a suit of armor looking like Captain America, and he seems the most zealotous of all of them.
Okay.
Here, what looks like Magneto, that's freaking Onslaught.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. As in the combination of Xavier and Magneto's minds turned crazy, and yeah. So
right. Oh, damn.
That's Onslaught. So good God. And last but not least, this is a new female Killmonger.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, a couple of interesting twists in this book here. And so I'm like, all right. So Steve Fox is the writer of this. I'm not familiar with what Steve's done before. Steve's a fairly new writer to me. Or at least I've never read anything he's done before. But yeah, very intriguing series. Couple of good twists there. It's a lot better book, mini series than I thought it was going to be. So this is some of this Doom stuff. Like this has been a really good storyline so far. Like it hasn't really petered out anywhere. So yeah, I'm impressed. Of course, it's my boy.
Right? Yeah. I was going to say it's like you are wearing the T-shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was one of my gets from C2E2, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you showed me that one. Yeah.
He is. So yeah, so there will be some new T-shirts you're going to see on the Fanatic Forum here. So if anyone's ever paying attention to that sort of thing. So next thing here, our one DC offering of the week here, Absolute Flash issue number 2, a much improved book here because I read the first issue, and while I was intrigued with the storyline, it had a lot more questions than anything else. So we definitely don't have a firm grip on what happened to Wally, what kind of powers does he have, and why he's just cannot seem to control them. He's definitely a speedster, but there's also a lot of time things going on. Like he'll pop in and like it was 2 days ago, and now he's back to the modern day. And then it's 4 days later, and so it's almost like he's like time traveling as a speedster kind of thing, but he can't control it. A little bit more of the mystery unravels here. We get a lot more action from this new version of the Rogues, but of course it's the same people Toyman, Captain Cold, Golden Glider, Captain Boomerang is in here, but much different looking versions of them. And speaking of a much different looking version, the other member of the Rogues gets whipped out in this issue of Gorilla Grodd. And you want to talk about a much different looking version of Gorilla Grodd? Look no further. Kind of almost very similar to Absolute Batman number 7, where we meet the absolute version of Mr. Freeze. And this is not a dying old frosty man in a suit anymore.
Yeah.
It is a much, much different version. And since Absolute Batman is 3 weeks old now, I can say Victor Freeze is, of course, a research scientist, and he'd been in Antarctica for multiple years doing research on finding different biological organisms and ancient organisms within the ice. Well, he found something in the ice that turned him. So Mr. Freeze basically looks normal, then, but basically once he wants to freak out, he like grows like at least a couple of feet in size, and his like veins all start turning black and blue. And
he got the thing.
He basically got the thing. He found an organism that turned him. And he's creepy as all get out. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then I got a bunch of indies here to talk about here. I actually got 4, not a bunch, but more than usual here. One you would certainly appreciate here, Conan number 20.
Oh yeah. Always appreciate a new issue of Conan.
Yep, this is the A cover. Roberto De La Torre does this one here. Doug Braithwaite does the second. This is basically coming right off the heels of the last issue here, where we get our first meeting of Conan and Zula, one of basically Robert E. Howard's great side piece characters for Conan, who is an African warrior, but a little different in this storyline.
Side piece characters?
Okay, side characters, not side piece. Sorry, wrong phrasing. Conan's not doing Zula. They're friends. They're friends.
Hey man, maybe that's how we need to repackage Robert E. Howard to sell him to the masses now. Make it like the dragon romance novels that are airing up the bestseller lists.
Oh my god. Conan thrusts his purple-headed warrior into
Oh god. No. No.
Anywho, so, like I said, this issue piggybacks off the last issue here. And if you've been keeping up with the Conan story, you know a few issues ago, Conan was in Stygia shortly after Belit's passing. So he's all kind of his weird funk period and was stabbed with a knife known as the Fangs of the Serpent. And so it's had some weird effects on him ever since. Well, we finally deal with that stuff in this issue here. So, but yeah, a very cool issue. Art by Doug Braithwaite here. And of course, I love Doug. When basically Roberto's not doing it, then I love it when Doug Braithwaite's on the book.
Yeah.
Hey, Bradley, Conan, what is best in life?
Best in life.
To see your enemies driven before you, to hear the lamentations of the women.
Yeah.
And
something, yeah.
There's
a little more to that, yeah.
There's a third thing. There's three things.
Yeah.
Crushing it where you're allowed to.
Now, the one that the big quote that I remember the most from Conan, though, was Crom, I've never prayed to you before. I have no tongue for it. Just remember that today here's 3 stood against many. And like the whole, maybe I could, I was like, but allow us a glorious death. And if you choose to hear our prayer, thank you. If not, to hell with you.
To hell with you.
Yeah.
Yes. I know that is one way to basically, to tell off your god. There, it's like, you know what, you're not going to help me, then piss off.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure Crumb respected that kind of moxie because that's the kind of god he is.
Yeah,
he lives in a friggin' mountain. By the way, come on, let's go. Yeah. Anywho, all right. Let's see here. Next one here, in the next installment of the G.I. Joe Silent Mission issues here. We have the Spirit issue here, done by Leonardo Romero with colors by Chris Peter here. And of course, if you're an animal lover here, Spirit is friend to the animals. As you see, of course, there's Freedom back there in the background there. But yeah, it's of course a storyline where he's basically helping out some small and furry things like that, and it's really cool. So yeah, definitely worth checking out here. So, oh hey, we got Masters Manic Mexico, aka Martin. Good to see you, Martin. Talk about having the thing. Oh, yeah, there you go. What's your opinion on the Fantastic Four trailer, specifically about Ben? Nerdy greetings and thanks for the show. Hey, you're welcome, Martin. We were talking about the Fantastic Four trailer at the top of the show, because I posted on their Facebook pages. I'm looking forward to it. And as for the thing, it took us 3 movies, but we got him right in the 4th one because he has the Kirby brow. It's like he looks like the Thing. So
honestly, like I didn't have that much of an issue with either previous version of the Thing beforehand, considering like the makeup of the time. Like the Corman thing didn't look bad for what it was. I mean, for real.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I will give the Corman movie a lot of props because that's the first and only movie that they got Dr. Doom right.
Yeah,
because
that is true.
Julian, what's his face from Nip Tuck and the other 2 Fantastic Four movies, and then Toby Kebbell. No, they didn't get. They turned him into just a garbage villain and. I'm sorry, the act. I can't remember the actor's name for the Corman movie, but he's the one that got it right. I mean, he was arch, he was regal. I mean, it's like, come on.
Yeah, it was like the people like to mock that Fantastic Four movie, but those actors were trying their asses off.
Yeah,
it wasn't for their lack of trying. It's like the production value was crap, but it's still got a little charm to it for what it is.
It's got a lot of charm to it, and there's a lot more accuracy to that movie than there is in the other previous films. So so now I'm looking very forward to the new Fantastic Four movie. And there are people kind of going on about like, oh, they changed Johnny. How? He's blonde. He's skirting around with the Thing. He's Sue's brother. He's on the team.
Wait, did you say he was screwing around with the Thing?
Well, yeah, like he always messes with. They always mess with each other. Pranking each other and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. You're just having some interesting choices of words here tonight, George.
Or you just are just dirty.
I mean, if we're not doing phrasing anymore, just let me know. But
Anywho, yeah, okay. Johnny and Ben constantly pick and mess with each other, and Johnny's always pranking on Ben.
They're having hijinks. Yeah.
Hijinks, shenanigans.
Yeah, there you go.
Good God. And Martin also says, as a German, he had a chance to see some WrestleManias live. Well, that's cool.
Oh.
In Hamburg. And now that you live in Mexico, oh, dude, yeah. Getting to enjoy Lucha Libre live, I am jelly. That is awesome, dude. I would love to see some live Lucha Libre, especially in Mexico.
That would be killer, yeah.
Let's see. Oh, Bradley says, check out the He-Man TMT crossover. Yes. Turtles of Grayskull is the series. I would agree with a lot of the fans. This one's not getting a good reception. Now, granted, there's the Naruto Ninja Turtles crossover. I'm hearing a lot of good things about it. I've not read that one because I don't know jack about Naruto. But I did check out the Turtles of Grayskull first issue, and the art's not good. The story's kind of weird. Like, the figures are way better. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say the figures look cool. I don't know anything about the comic, but...
Basically, it's, you're getting kind of like the turtle characters looking like Masters of the Universe people. Like, literally, there's Leonardo as He-Man where he's got a blonde wig on. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
So, Michelangelo's even, yeah. So there's some funny aspects to it, but yeah, it's like I would much rather just have a proper, serious, He-Man book, because when DC had a great run of Masters of the Universe stuff in the 2000s, as did Image, and I wish they kind of bring some of that back. I wish they would. So, you know what? Going back to the Thing discussion here. Martin says that he found the Thing looking a little small. Yeah, I can see he's a little smaller. He's not as thick. I can see that a little bit. I wouldn't say he's kind of tiny or anything like that. But yeah, he's a little bit more slim, I guess. At least because most of the time we've just seen him in that the spacesuit thing. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. So you're still looking forward to it. I can find even find entertainment in that license. Yeah. Yeah, I really want to check it out though.
Yeah.
So yeah, I tell you what, July is going to be a packed month because we've got Fantastic Four, we've got the new Superman movie, and the new Jurassic Park movie. So there's a bunch of.
I don't know there's a new Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, it's a whole new trilogy. It's not, as far as I know, I don't know if they're piggybacking off the Chris Pratt trilogy, but it's a new series, and Scarlett Johansson's our lead in it. So,
okay. I know people like to hate on the Chris Pratt trilogy, but it's like, I just love the idea of like, just give me dinosaurs in different settings, and it's like I'll watch them. Like I was a huge I love the original Jurassic Park movies. It's like I enjoyed that trilogy. Yeah, I'm here for Jurassic Park movies. I'm more excited for them than that Superman movie. But.
That's true. Yeah, you've been kind of very cautiously optimistic on the Superman movie. I wouldn't even say cautiously optimistic. You've just been cautious.
Yeah, it's like I don't think it's going to be good at all. I'm going in expecting to hate a lot of it, to be honest.
And see, in the best way possible, I hope you're wrong. So, and so does everyone at Warner Brothers.
Yeah, no. It's like nothing would please me more than to be wrong. But yeah,
very true.
Yeah, there's just that James Gunn style of superheroes, and it's like I don't like what I've seen so far. Yeah,
that's fair.
That's a whole other discussion. But yeah,
that's cool. Well, like I say, we'll see how it goes. We've got a few more months to wait, so we'll see. Yeah. But I'm excited to see Crypto though. All right, so a couple more indie books to talk about here. Part of the Ghost Machine universe here, Redcoat. So, of course, I've talked about this book previously here, but it's been a little bit. This is issue 11 here. And we're kind of starting to build a shared universe of these immortal characters throughout time. So Simon Pure, as you can see, fought for the British during the Revolutionary War. Through a circumstance of events, was made immortal because basically he kind of interrupted a secret society's meeting of a lot of the founding fathers who apparently were in a cult, also trying for immortality. And he kind of took it from them, and it should have gone to like somebody like George Washington or Ben Franklin. So,
and then Queen started to play, and yeah.
No Highlander stuff in here. You don't have to cut somebody's head off here, but yeah, you basically got kind of the adventures of Simon throughout history, and so we're right now in the Civil War, and has run into for the first time a character they've been teasing called the Northerner, who basically looks like a African American soldier fighting for the North. But the one thing about the Northerners, he's carrying around modern day weaponry, like Glocks and machine guns and stuff like that. So somebody's a time traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, there's a really cool scene where basically there's a runaway slave who's being chased down, and the Northerner catches up to them and basically whips out a couple of pistols, and they're like, "What is that with them contraptions you got in his hands?" And of course, then they get both shot in the head very soon after. So it's like, yeah, good old modern day weaponry around the Hobucks there. Yeah. So what you got there, boy? Dead racist. That's what we got there. And last but not least here, and I tell you what, I've talked about this series previously here, and I'm not a big Ninja Turtles fan. I will self-admit that. I love the 80s black and white stuff, the Eastman Laird original stuff. I loved Last Ronin, but I really haven't read a lot in between. But this new Jason Aaron series is outstanding. We're 8 issues in on this one here. Now, of course, the series starts up kind of piggybacking off of the events from the IDW series. So the Turtles have been framed for murder. The city is basically against them. We've got basically Shredder is dead. His daughter Karai is now basically have been in charge of the Foot Clan for some time now. She's basically running the city and has this like really crappy district attorney named Hale, who's basically kind of her mouthpiece. We haven't seen Karai in a long time, so we're just seeing this Hale guy. But basically, New York has turned into a city-state not friendly for the Turtles, so they have to kind of basically, go in secret from New Jersey, where they're hiding out, to essentially do their job of saving the city. Right. Of course, the boys aren't getting along, and the worst part about it is that Donatello is. You don't really see it in this picture here, but physically he's kind of the shell of his former self because he was locked up in a cage for a while, having to fight other mutants and stuff like that. So he's kind of very emaciated, and he's been carrying around this dead rat that he keeps referring to as Master, as in like that Splinter, because in the comics, Splinter died some time ago. And so the boys have been kind of lost since Splinter passed. But Donatello's been talking to this dead rat, saying, basically following instructions, things like that. And there's one point in the book where Leonardo and Donatello are arguing, and Leonardo's like, "Look, it's like, I know you've been going through all this stuff. I hear you weeping every night in your room." He's like, "That's not me crying." And so like, "Oh, maybe it's one of the other boys or something like that." You find out it's the friggin' rat. Leonardo's hearing it now too. Michelangelo and Raph, they aren't hearing it yet, but Leonardo is hearing the voice of Splinter coming from this dead rat now.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, but it's giving him a renewed focus. It's bringing him back to center. Because that's the thing. Everybody thinks Donatello is crazy. He's out of his mind. Where Donatello is like, I'm saying I'm with it. I'm trying to help out doing all this stuff here. I'm listening to Master Splinter. I don't care if you think I look weird or look kind of, in rough shape. I'm in the right frame of mind doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You guys are in the wrong. So, yeah, I've really, really enjoyed this. Really good writing, good drama between the boys here, and kind of some little twists and turns. Juan Ferreira's art is outstanding. It very is reminiscent of the darker, grittier 80s stuff. So,
sweet. Yeah. I'm going to have to check this one out because, you've spoken about this one a couple of times.
Yeah. Like I said, I am, me, I am not a Ninja Turtles guy. I'm like, this is bomb. Yeah. So, very, very good stuff here. Oh, we got a couple new comments here from our buddy Martin here.
Sweet.
Actually, he would have one of El Vikingo's physicians. Holy crap!
Wow,
Dude, that's wow.
dang,
The OG
yeah,
El Vikingo, not El Hijo del Vikingo, the El
the
Vikingo.
original, yeah, damn.
Okay. Yeah. That's all the geek card you need, sir.
Right, for real.
I was a physician for El Vikingo, and now we're friends.
Yeah.
You want to come over? Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Living near Cuervica, and a couple old school gyms here.
Oh yeah.
Sweet. That's very cool there. Bradley's chiming in, says, related not to a movie, Jurassic Park, but you all know the first person shooter Jurassic Park game. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Well, are you talking? Is that the one that was like the late 90s rail shooter? Because I remember that one.
I remember there were a couple of Jurassic Park games. There was the rail shooter, the one that was like the $2 game up at the mall that you could never play because it was so damn expensive. It was either that or like 8 plays of Gauntlet versus one play of that. And then there was there was like that Super Nintendo game that was kind of an FPS, but had parts of it that were FPS. But yeah, I'm not that familiar with the Jurassic Park games.
Yeah, I said that the only one. The only one I remember is that rail shooter. But it was like in you had like the sit down thing you were in, and like 2 people could sit in there. That's
right.
I remember that one. So yeah. Oh, Ronnie, Mr.
What's
Ron
up?
James, one of my buddies from Whatnot here, says fantastic book talking about the new Ninja Turtles here. So yes,
nice,
sir.
Nice.
Or he's also talking about Redcoat because he's also a Ghost Machine fan. So either way, yeah, cool. Ronnie, good to see you, brother. And of course, Martin also says he loves the 90s Ninja Turtles cartoons. They helped him survive long nights of dire medical studies. No heart. See, the 90s cartoons were fun. And you know what? I will always give props to the original Ninja Turtles movie. Because even though it was still made for kids, it was kid accessible, it was still dark and gritty enough to kind of satisfy your 80s fans.
Yeah. Oh man, no, whatever. I remember being in the theater, with all the other kids, and as soon as Raphael screams "damn," and then it's like all the kids in the room are just like hee, the tamest swear word in the world, and then there's like this collective kind of wincing from parents, like, oh no. But no, it's like I was a turtle head growing up. I loved the old comics. I had a 5th printing of the first issue.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which I still wish I still wish I had. But I collected a lot of those old Turtles comics between the Archie comics and some of the black and white ones, and the 90s show, obviously that old arcade game that was the beat 'em up. Yeah, it's like I think the best Turtle series thus far is the 2003 series. It's the closest to the comic book. It's pretty dark. It's pretty gritty. It's like none of the fantastical elements from the OG show, but
so we get a little less crazy mutants and just kind of a little more ninjas versus ninjas.
Oh yeah, very much so. And a lot of the storylines are just straight from the original comics too.
Okay, cool.
And
because there was some Baxter Stockman started getting overused in the comics. Like he was just busting out new mutants left and right. To the part was like, okay, come on. The mutants we have are getting a little less special because we're being more frequent here. So
yeah. No, it's like one of the things about the 2003 series though that I really loved with Stockman is that like the whole time that he keeps talking to this general that he thinks that he's funding this war. I think it's where the IDW series got the idea, but he thinks he's funding this third world military uprising, right? When it's really Dimension X stuff going on. But then once he's privy to it, and then he'll go off panel and something will screw up and the Turtles will foil him. And then when he comes back, he's missing an eye or an arm, or he starts that's when he starts to slowly become not human and becomes the mutated creature. Yeah, just he becomes this this visible representation of his failures.
Exactly.
That's one of the things with the Turtles that I love is the body horror. I'm a big body horror fan.
Very well. We grew up on David Cronenberg kind of stuff like that. So how could you not be a body horror fan? Yeah. Or if you were able to stomach all the way through Society, then basically there you go.
Yeah. And then Hellraiser, that did weird things to us too. Yeah.
But Hellraiser's still like classy body horror though. That's a little more epic and classy. Let's put it this way: Michelle doesn't watch Cronenberg movies. Michelle, my wife, for those who don't know, doesn't watch Cronenberg movies over and over again. But Hellraiser is like one of her I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and I don't mind having this on as background noise and something calming and something comforting. Hellraiser, folks.
Yeah. Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
Yeah. This is the lady who's having sex with a dude with no skin.
Yeah.
This movie.
Oh man. And see, Hellraiser's one of the few horror movies that actually still give me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah.
It's like that. That's why I love Hellraiser, is because as an adult, it's still unsettling to me.
Oh, I'll tell you what. For anybody who's never gone out and read the original Clive Barker story, The Hellbound Heart, which is what Hellraiser was based off of, highly recommend doing so.
Yeah.
So yeah. See, that thing, I will always give Clive Barker more credit than Neil Gaiman, because Neil Gaiman hid his eccentricities and his creepy stuff, and it got him in trouble many years later. Clive Barker never hid any of that stuff. He's like, I go to weird S&M clubs. I'm a leather slut. I do all kinds of weird stuff over here. I'm very fetishist, and I'm going to write about it too.
Yeah. But then he can also write something like that, some of those beautiful young adult fiction.
Exactly.
Stuff like Magica, and it's like especially his dark fairy tales too, very Guillermo del Toro style,
great secret show and stuff like that.
Man, yeah.
Oh, and what was the Thief of Always? Oh my!
Dude,
we were so close to having an animated Thief of Always movies in the 2000s that would have been outstanding.
Yeah,
and it fell through. It's like so close.
Not to mention Nightbreed.
Oh, Nightbreed's great. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, Nightbreed's one of those movies that it's I always remember seeing it. I didn't watch it until I was an adult, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I remember seeing it in the video store, because it was always one of those big pop-ups, And it was this dude standing there with these horrible looking creatures. And of course, as a child, I was shying away from the horror movies, but intrigued by it. And then to find out that Nightbreed is not this insane horror movie that I thought that it was. And it was really just a dark fairy tale. It was like Jim Henson's Dark Crystal, except on crack.
Or if you're an X-Men fan, it's the Morlocks movie you always wanted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And Cronenberg is in it.
Yeah, he's not directing it. He's in the movie as an actor. And he's awesome.
I love when Cronenberg just shows up and stuff. He shows up in Star Trek Discovery, of all things.
I know. It's just randomly pops up in things here. The world's creepiest Canadian, but we love him. Oh, and we were talking about the Jurassic Park games. Bradley was referring to the 90s PC game. So I'm not a PC gamer, so with the exception of Wolfenstein 2 and the original Doom. So I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Yeah, brother. I'm lost on that one too, brother.
Yeah, I'm a console gamer, so I always have been, always will be. Oh, but Bradley's got a good comment here for us. The box. You opened it.
We came. Yeah.
Martin says, loves action figures, focus on the 80s, but also has a bunch of vintage Playmate Turtle stuff. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I lived on those Playmate Turtle figures, yeah.
Yeah, if you still have any of those turtle figures in the box, dude, that's money. And if they're not in the box, they're still money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you ever need to pay off some medical school bills or anything like that, man. Due to comics, would you believe German kids haven't had access to nothing Marvel or DC? Yeah, you know what? Honestly, yeah. I knew there was a lot, especially in Germany, a lot of repression of comic books, basically because they wanted to stem away. There's a whole generation of Germans, as Germans would well know, that basically wanted to pretty much ignore the events of World War II. It's the country's great shame. And they're like, let's just get away with all violent stuff and just let's erase all that. And then now you've got a much younger generation of like maybe like the past almost 15 to 20 years that's saying, no, we don't need to embrace this, but it is a part of our history. We need to recognize it, and then we need to move forward from this. And so, exactly. Definitely during the 80s, there was a lot of repression of Western media, at least in Germany.
Yeah, that makes sense too, because it's like so much of Marvel Comics is based out of World War II anyway. It's like, where it just comes from. Yeah.
Yep. Basically Captain America, Nick Fury, the Invaders, and of course you got G.I. Joe, which is a paramilitary teams. Like, I could definitely see the point though.
Yeah. Now like conversely though.
There you go. But see, it didn't help a bit. A good point.
Yeah.
Then again, of course, I mean, America's kind of a dumpster fire too. So, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, brother.
Yeah. But now, see, then conversely, like the one thing that drives me nuts is then like and I've talked about it on the show before, like Benelli comics, like Italian comics.
Yeah.
Like the Italian comic book industry is like insane. And like, what you can get with like, 96 page, like monthly, stuff that it's all like done very similarly to like how, Japanese manga is done, with like one guy or like rotating artists or whatever. But, so much of that stuff and very little of it ever gets translated to English. And that's what bothers me is like, we have no access to this incredible, like different kind of storytelling, except in very limited and cultivated pieces that,
yeah. And it's really weird how different countries will kind of treat different media. And of course, Martin goes on to say that basically Big Jim and Masters of the Universe was really their go-to for toys in the 80s. And that's
okay.
Because Big Jim was essentially kind of the precursor to G.I. Joe, essentially.
Oh yeah. I remember Big Jim from like one of those I Love the 80s shows. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was a Mattel toy. It originally started out as kind of like he was the competitor because Hasbro had G.I. Joe, so Mattel had Big Jim. So Big Jim was just a guy, and he was an adventurer. He wasn't a soldier or anything. He was just an adventurer. And first he had just like a bunch of like rotating outfits and things. Like even had one basically made him look like Grizzly Adams. Because Grizzly Adams was a popular TV show at the time. And then in the late 70s, going into the very early, like maybe like 80, Big Jim got friends, and then also had a group of enemies called like Fist or something like that, or it was some anagram, but I think it was something along those lines. But basically, they tried to make him kind of a little more G.I. Joe-esque right around the time that literally G.I. Joe: Real American Hero was going to debut.
Yeah.
So it was kind of almost like a Barbie and the Rockers versus Jim kind of thing, like which one got out first. So even though Big Jim got out first, it didn't pale. It paled in comparison to G.I. Joe. And talking about our Clive Barker stuff, Braylon's like, what about Candyman and Rawhead Rex?
Oh yeah.
Very
a lot of people like they sleep on Rawhead Rex, but
Rawhead Rex.
Candyman's still creepy as hell too. I actually couldn't think of it.
Candyman's beautiful film, and if no one's ever seen the remake, well, it's not really a remake. It's kind of like a next generation sequel, but the more recent Candyman film. If for whatever reason, if you've been holding off on it or if you think it disrespects the original, don't. See it, enjoy it. It's amazing. It's definitely respectful of the original. It's kind of a furthering of the franchise sort of thing. It's not a remake at all. Check it out. I highly recommend it. And then yes, sir. Yeah. This is my Oktoberfest mug from last year. So Prost. Anywho, yes, sir.
No.
Yeah. Well, my last name is Bueller, so that's a good proper German name, anyway. So, all right. Well, enough sidetracking because that's kind of the fun of the Fanatic Forum here. Is basically we get off on tangents and sidetracks. You, sir, had some book reviews.
Yeah, I had a book review. So the first review, and this is one we already covered, but I'm going to cover it this time. And it is, the facsimile edition of G.I. Joe number 21 that Mr. Bueller was kind enough to procure for me. And I do thank you for that. And whatever I'm about to say is not because of, however you presented it to me or anything like that. It's just the issue in general being marketed as a facsimile issue.
Right.
And I don't feel that is accurate. It's a reprint, sure. The story pages are all here, but when I hear facsimile issue, I expected like, a reprint of, the original with, the accoutrement, so to speak. I understand that where the book was originally published by Marvel, that it wouldn't have things like, probably the Marvel subscription ad with Spider-Man swinging by, something like that,
Right.
But, you could do something. But, this is, I felt a little cheated with this one because it is, you got a nice like cardstock cover, which is, that part's very nice, but the paper itself being old school throwback paper is cool too. I liked that. But then it's just the story pages, trying to
no. The only ads are for modern day
for modern day image books, and it's like you got a little write up from Larry Hama, which is it's cool, interesting to read, but as far as no, this is a glorified reprint. It's not a facsimile.
Exactly. I would wholeheartly agree with you in that regard. Yes.
Yeah. And so it's like I do feel a little disappointed with it. It's like I don't like hate that I have it, but it's just it's like I wish Skybound would do better with something like that.
And that's a very good point. It honestly, it wouldn't take probably too much work to get the original ad pages from Marvel to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I mean, because it's not like there's anything that's like serious money. Anything that was advertising there is completely not able to be purchased anymore.
It's like you block out the phone numbers, you block out addresses. It's like it's like if
you don't have to do that. So, but I agree with you because I will say in comparison, DC has been winning the facsimile game, especially the last couple of years because they were getting much more comprehensive with Golden Age facsimiles, especially today is actually Superman Day. So we're celebrating the release of Action Comics #1. And so at the shop, we actually had some freebies to give away and then some reprints of Superman for All Seasons, for All-Star Superman, and then, of course, Action Comics #1. But this time, Action Comics is reprinted in its proper Golden Age size and format with a cardstock cover, but you get nice, newsprint pages. And it's a full facsimile. So not just the Superman stories in there. Everything that was included in Action Comics #1 is available. And if you aren't familiar, there was another first appearance in the DC universe in Action Comics #1. Do you know what that would be? Zatara, father of Zatanna, the master magician.
I did not know that.
Yes. The first appearance of Zatara is in Action Comics #1.
Wow.
Yep.
So hold on, y'all still have it? Y'all still have these Action Comics facsimiles?
You want one?
Grab me one of them. Yes, please. Yeah, please. Absolutely. I would love to have one. A proper facsimile, so to speak.
Yeah, like I said, they did the same thing with the last year's Batman Day with Detective Comics 27. So all we have left are the foil variants of that, but nonetheless, you can get a Detective Comics in the proper Golden Age size, which basically kind of looks like almost like a magazine size.
Yeah, magazine size. Yeah, because it's like and they what 64 pages was standard, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, because a thing a lot of younger comic fans don't realize is that especially the 1940s and almost kind of going into the 50s, you start to phase out the anthology books into the 1960s, getting into more of the single character books. But primarily comic books were anthology books. So you had kind of generic titles like action, detective, war, stuff like that. It was only like your cartoon books like your Uncle Scrooge or your Bugs Bunny, stuff like that, where you may have multiple stories in there, but at least it's going to be the same characters you're going to see throughout. Whereas like, Detective Comics, you got your Batman story, and then the rest of the stories in there are all like cop stories. Or, Police Comics #1, there's the first appearance of Plastic Man. And then the rest of the stories are all cop and detective stories. Yeah. So there's no other superhero story in there. So so like that was just so DC has really gotten on their game with the facsimiles and producing a complete facsimile of a Golden Age book, ads and everything. So they've done this multiple times now with All American Comics #1, first appearance of the Green Lantern, like I just said, police comics, Detective, Action Comics, Brave and the Bold, with the first appearance of the Justice League. So, yeah. So
the first appearance, Swamp Thing 37, that was a good one. That was a good one. Even now, I got that one knowing though that the cover was not the original facsimile cover. It was the Superpowers variant, but I got that specifically because it was the Superpowers variant.
Yeah,
but,
and we do actually have the actual cover, and there also was a variant cover, and then they also did blanks as well. So there's there's 4 variants for that Swamp Thing facsimile. But yeah, again, first appearance of John Constantine, and pretty cool. So Martin's saying that French and Italian comics are really good. Yeah. I would agree.
I would love to get more into them. Yeah, I just can't. I'm not bilingual.
Well, and also they're hard to find in the States.
Yeah, they really are. There was one. It was an indie publisher, and I think they went to Kickstarter around COVID, and then you haven't heard much from them. But Epicenter Comics, and they did. They did a bunch of the Western stuff with Zagor, who's a big Italian Western comic. Character. They did big, thick, trade paperbacks of Zagor, and I was hoping they would do them for. Yeah, I was hoping they would do them for Dylan Dog, but it was only single issue stories of that, and it's I got all of them that they did, and it's they're really great. I love them all. I just wish they would have done more.
Done more, yeah, sure. Yeah. And of course, at least we got a little bit of Dylan Dog for American audiences when they did the Batman crossover last year. So
that was a fan. I loved that crossover so much. It's if you know anything about Dylan Dog lore, it plays into it really well. It plays into Batman lore really well. It was just friggin' weird. You got to see John Constantine and Dylan Dog pal around for a little bit.
That was
I remember texting you during it. It was this is such random Italian weirdness, and I'm here for it. Yeah.
No. And of course too, it was the thicker volumes than typical American comics too. So it's so we almost got that Italian format. So I love it. So Bart says remembers an Italian series were Tiny Green Men. Called the Tiny Green Men. And it had all of them. But they were not made for children. Oh my god! And it said, "There you go, Superman." So much to say. Same as Cavill, McFarlane, the great action figure heist. I would say. Well, yeah, it's basically McFarlane is leaving DC and going to Marvel to make figures now.
Wait, so it's what?
Yeah, McFarlane, the 2025 is the last year McFarlane Toys is producing DC stuff, and they're going to be starting to produce Marvel stuff after. So the last wave of the superpower stuff is coming out, and a lot of the DC, the more the fancier figures, so yeah.
Wow.
I know. Yeah, it's a big shift there. But then again, okay, well, we get to the high quality of DC figures we've enjoyed now on the Marvel side of things. And I think I forget who it's somebody who's had the DC license previously got them back. I don't know if it was Toy Biz or Marvel or Mattel or something like that. But yeah, somebody who previously worked with DC for figures got them back.
Okay.
But yeah, that's been the big stink there. So. Yeah, DC fans no. Marvel fans yes.
Yeah.
No, McFarlane is not buying Diamond anymore. Actually, Diamond has a buyer. I can't think of the name of the company, but originally there was some shenanigans that went on. Basically, there was a company that won the bid in the bankruptcy courts. They won the bid. They were the highest bidder and whatever else. And then another company kind of comes in late at night and tries to undercut, and Diamond accepted their offer, but they only wanted the games and the toy divisions. They didn't care anything about the comics or New Comic Book Day. And then the judge of the bankruptcy court, after the first company that sued them that won, said, no, this isn't right. You go to the highest bidder. So some company, I can't remember, it was not Alliance or something like that. Maybe it is Alliance. But anyway, another stateside company has purchased Diamond. So, yeah, they have a buyer. We don't know anything further from there. I will say that for the first time in a while, some of this week's Diamond books were on time, and also some of last week's books that were late had arrived this week, but not everything we were expecting. So you're almost there, guys. Keep up the good work. Maybe because like the last time everything was 100% on time, and there was Thanksgiving last year. So,
oh dang,
yeah,
wow,
and that was before they filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, so Diamond's had some rough stuff there. Oh, yeah. Mattel got the DC license. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know though. You could have some crossovers with Master of the Universe and DC now.
Yeah, they've done it before, I believe.
Well, they've done the comics. They've never done the toys, but yeah, they've certainly done the comics. So that could be cool. All right, more reviews from you, good sir.
Yes. So part of the reason, or part of my overtime treat to myself after working so much, was a special. I've stopped. This is kind of a side tangent that'll lead back into it for a second. But so it's like I've stopped kind of buying a lot more Blu-rays as of in the past few years. As opposed to what I previously had, even not necessarily because the stuff is not coming out and it's not good. I don't want to keep buying the same movies over and over again. And it's like, it's like I got like the Shawscope Volume 2 set, but it's like the Volume 3 set's a bunch of wuxia movies, and that's not my style. Like, it's like I've got the Kung Fu movies I want from it. So it's like, yeah, but so then, it's like, of course, the big collector mentality in me, it's like psychologically I have to fill it with some kind of special edition. Of course. It's like, yeah, then, it's like, of course, then it comes into books, right? So I spoke before here about the Malazan series, that weird fantasy series. Yeah. So the British publisher, The Broken Binding, has a special edition that they are releasing. And they're going to release all 10 books of it. So I'm kind of committed at this point. It's like, yeah. They had a special deal where apparently like this release had some controversy with it, where they was supposed to come out last year, but they had to end up pulping one run of the books because something was wrong with the paper. Then there was another version that came out and the paper was still too thin. And then finally they had to do another reprinting that was the thicker paper that people are getting now. Well, they still had one of the thin paper versions that they were selling at a discount, right? And it was only like a $10 discount. So it's not like, these books are unreadable, right? So it's like I got one of the cheaper ones. Also, too, because it was signed, right? But so it's like the first book of that, Gardens of the Moon.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that one, yeah.
Yeah, so I reread this guy, just because it was the special edition. And it's like it is a good hardcover. It's like and these are with a nice
I love that binding on there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's like when you put all three of them together, it makes a scene, but the other ones are downstairs.
That's dope.
Yeah, then the you open it up and it's got like the big artwork on there, and like the of course the new cover. Yeah, it's like it's like these are very nice editions of the book.
Yeah,
it's like they're. And it's like, even though you buy like the first three at a time, or you buy it like three at a time or what? Oh, and hold up, the signature page too, which these might be some of the last ones that Steven Erikson actually signs, because he was having some wrist trouble after that. Yeah, but that's part of the deal. But yeah, it's like, these books are, they're nice, but they're not like bank breakingly nice. Basically it's about $50 a hardcover. What it comes out to be. So it's like, and it's like, sturdy, binding and everything, ribbon bookmark going on. I got it tucked in.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But no, it's like, so I was very happy to reread this book again, so especially so recently, and to get back into it. But the cover on this, I spoke of the first time about the paperback being awful, right?
Yeah.
This is an awesome scene from early in the book. So it kind of like lets you know what's going to go on. Right. So this is exciting, right? It's kind of like, at least like, it's visually eye-catching.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, hold up. Let me pull the the paperbacks right here. Blah. The big tower. The big tower on the no, it tells you another, like, okay, this is like could be in any fantasy novel, right?
Yeah. Dark Tower ripoff. Great.
Yeah. Now, just for shits and giggles, the original 80s hardcover pressing, I'm going to share if you will throw that up there for me. I'm going to show what this looked like, just as a bad cover example. So this guy, your
Is
typical,
that Fabio?
right? Well, it's like the running joke is this is John Malazan because the series is Malazan and Jane Malazan because these are not analogs to any characters in the books. It's just generic fantasy guy on a horse and girl in armor. And yeah, it's like, okay, so it's just, yeah, it's supposed to like kind of give you like Aragorn vibes, like, and
Sure,
trick you into buying it, because if you might be into fantasy. But yeah, finally there's a version of Gardens of the Moon that actually has a decent friggin' cover. And yeah, so I'm glad I have that.
There should be a disclaimer. Man on an armored horse does not appear in book.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's dudes on horses and armor, but yeah, there's just no like, yeah,
Not that guy.
yeah, just not him. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I've been. I finally got started on that. The Wilds.
Kings of the Wild.
Kings of the Wild. Yeah, that's been good. Yeah, and I've been my comic reading has been getting cutting into my book reading time. So
yeah, no, there were several like laugh out loud moments that I had with Kings of the Wild, and then there were several of it like those moments where it's like, oh man, that hits you right in the feels. Like it's a wonderful book. I love it. I'll be glad whenever you get all the way through it, we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So. All right. Any other reviews you got for us, or is it time to talk wrestling?
Let's talk wrestling. Let's go ahead and get it. Yeah, we're already running deep. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Martin says that wasn't a cover, but YouTube thumbnail clickbait.
Yeah.
That was the 80s version of clickbait. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just
false
covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
Oh yeah.
Well, Goosebumps guilty of it. Comic books were guilty of it for about 30 years.
Oh, dude, yeah. John Byrne's She-Hulk run was based entirely off of fake covers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was like I know people like to applaud his She-Hulk run, but just like looking back at it now, where every cover of it was just like, hey, you might see She-Hulk naked in this issue. It's just like, all right,
you're not.
Yeah, for real, you big pervert. Okay. Yeah.
No, you're not. It's a Marvel book. It's general. This is sold in friggin' Kroger and Winn-Dixie, man. You ain't gonna see
right.
Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord above. All right, let's talk wrestling here because again, this is the most wonderful week of the year. It is WrestleMania week. Las Vegas has basically been hoarded by wrestling companies, wrestling fans. There are so many small indie promotions or larger indie promotions like GCW and the NWA that are piggybacking off of WrestleMania and have shows in Vegas this weekend. So yeah, if you're a wrestling fan, there's a whole bunch. I mean, SmackDown is an hour and 15 minutes into the show right now. The Hall of Fame's later tonight. And then, of course, WrestleMania tomorrow and Sunday. So
don't pay for the NWA show because they will probably stream it on their YouTube channel in about 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, yes, last I heard, too, they were still streaming NWA Power on Twitter. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they do put Power on their YouTube channel now, the full episodes. So it's like, yeah. Sorry, NWA. Like, you're not, you don't have a TV deal. You don't have much of a TV deal or anything like that. You need to be on YouTube. Do what MLW does. They put everything on YouTube. And guess what? MLW has a fan base because people can see their stuff.
Right.
So, yeah. And they go to shows when they're in their area. So there you go, folks. Exactly. All right. So for night one here, of course, the big main event obviously going to be Punk, Roman, and Seth here. But I think we got a couple of matches that may possibly steal the show or at least impress us a little bit on night one. For one, I think Tiffany and Charlotte has gotten a lot better than it started out to be. And of course, it's got a lot to do with the promo from 2 weeks ago, where basically both of them went off the rails and went way off script. And basically, Tiffany Stratton making references to Charlotte Flair's multiple divorces and all that kind of stuff, and then basically just putting out a lot of her personal stuff, a lot of her business on TV, and then Charlotte kind of very weakly coming back with, "Oh, Kaiser's in my DMs." Nice, honey.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, no, I think I've been I've been very vocal in my distaste for Charlotte Flair pretty much ever since the beginning, and I don't have much hope in that match at all because I've never seen a good Charlotte Flair match. I don't know I don't know what matches everybody else is seeing who are claiming that they're seeing Charlotte Flair matches. Tiffany Stratton, I'm all on board the Tiffy train. But yeah, like Charlotte Flair, this yeah, I'm not this will be the talking with the boys match for me.
It might be. Now, I like Charlotte a lot more in NXT than I have she's been on the main roster. And the weird thing with Charlotte, I've talked about this before. I don't know if I'll talk about the show or not. The weird thing with Charlotte is I'm not trying to shame anybody for wanting to change themselves. They're not happy with their physical appearance. But for wrestling fans, it's one thing to change your ring gear when you come back from a long period away. But when physically you look different, not talk about you packed on some muscle, which would sometimes someone would expect, or you look in great shape, but your face looks different, your body looks different. So it's kind of like it kind of for wrestling fans, you kind of have to keep it simple. It kind of rattles you a little bit. You have to keep, much like a lot of athletics, you have to kind of keep faith in your favorites, whether it's a legitimate sport or whether it's wrestling, which is a performative sport. It's like either way, you have to keep your faith in that person. If you see like your favorite athlete coming out with a beer gut after in the new season, like that's not a good sign,
right?
Or like wrestling, it's such a physical thing there, and like Charlotte's face looks different every time she comes back. It's like, honey, stop the work. You don't look like yourself anymore. So that's my biggest beef with Charlotte right now. It's a different Charlotte every single time you see her. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. No, I can totally dig that. I can totally dig that.
Yeah.
But no, one match that I'm very much looking forward to that I think is going to be a contender for maybe match of the night's the War Raiders and New Day.
That could be good. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I think that the War Raiders are really stepped up, especially with this championship run. Especially both of them together. Like and the New Day, man. The New Day is just one of the great tag teams all around. Anyway.
Well, and I love heel New Day right now.
Oh yeah.
I love it, and I'm so happy that Triple H has basically put the War Raiders back into like their Ring of Honor days, where it's like they're not wearing horned helmets and loincloths. It's like no, they have kind of like a Viking kind of feel to them, but they don't actually have to dress like Vikings,
right?
Right. But yeah, it's like they're just let them be who they are because they're awesome and they're badass. Yeah. So let them be that way. I think LA Knight and Jacob Fatu could be good. I definitely see Jacob Fatu going over. The crowd is way into him right now.
Oh yeah. It's I definitely agree to that. It's as much as I still want LA Knight to keep the championship, it might be time to switch that one, especially to give Jacob Fatu a WrestleMania moment. But yeah.
And they almost kind of need to do something with LA Knight because it's like he was had a great bit of momentum, and then it's almost like bad booking kind of lost that momentum. So he's like, he still gets a good response when he comes in, but it's nowhere near the big pop he used to get.
Yeah.
So they kind of need to freshen him up a little bit. I hope Gunther and Jey Uso. I mean, Jey needs a better WrestleMania match than the one he had last year.
Oh gosh, yeah, for sure. That one's one of them I don't have a whole lot of faith in. I think Gunther's going to be a lot, I think he's going to carry it. Jey Uso's been another one I've never seen a whole lot of him, a whole lot of I don't see that in him.
Jey Uso, I've always seen as like the perfect Vince McMahon WWE wrestler because he's all sizzle, no steak.
Yeah.
And that's the Vince McMahon way. Whereas Gunther is a worker and he's awesome. And I wish he'd be Walter again. But okay, fine, we're going to call him Gunther. Either way, I love him. And yeah, I absolutely agree he's going to carry the match. I do see, though, Jey Uso going over, though, because at this point with the storyline, you kind of have to, because if Jey doesn't go over, that rocket he's on is going to crash.
Fair. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Cargill and Naomi, no disrespect to Jade Cargill. I'm talking like Cornette now. Jade Cargill, but that's a pee break match. As is Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano.
Yeah.
So, but of course, I know you're not a Punk fan, but I'm looking forward to that triple threat. They've done a great job booking that.
I think that's going to be a fantastic match. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some surprises that we're not expecting. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of Heyman drama going on there. Whether or not we're going to see some other interference in the match remains to be seen. But I'm convinced that I'm looking forward to Cena and Cody on Sunday night, but I'm convinced that's going to be overbooked nonsense. We're going to see like 47 people be involved in that match.
Right.
Yeah, it's not going to be just Cody and Cena in a pure wrestling match. Rock's coming out there. Old bloodline, new bloodline dudes we haven't seen yet. Because there's like at least 4 or 5 other people in the NOI family that are signed to WWE that have been in training that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that is true. You're right.
And one of them is Hikuleo.
Yeah.
And whether or not that kid can work, he's still a 7-foot tall dude. And if you see The Rock standing next to a 7-foot tall dude, that's a good image. So, yeah, I don't care if The Rock can't work, can't act, can't whatever else. He's still an impressive looking dude.
Yeah.
So he pees in jars and has the people hold that for him. But we're not going to talk about that sort of thing. Oh, here we go. Martin asks, who wants to see the Bushwhackers with a George Michael haircut and a Versace suit? Oh my God.
Damn.
Oh man, Luke and Butch. Oh, I love those guys. Yeah. we talked about that the last week's episode of Smokes and Road Beers. We were doing the greatest tag teams, man. It's like, dude, the difference between the Sheep Herders and the Bushwhackers is a night and day.
Yeah.
Same dudes, same tag team, different name, but completely different booking.
Yeah, Bushwhackers were the Saturday morning cartoon version. Yeah. Oh man, yeah.
And the Sheep Herders would have basically eaten the Bushwhackers for lunch.
Yes.
Yeah, with barbecue sauce.
Oh yeah.
All right. So as we said here, of course, the big show here for night 2, the Sunday night for WrestleMania, is Cody and Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. Like I said earlier, it should be a fun match, but it's going to be overbooked nonsense.
Oh yeah.
We may even see the ghost of Gorilla Monsoon pop up here. I don't know. we're going to see a lot of things here.
They bring back Papa Shango to do necromancy to bring back Gorilla Monsoon. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna see they're in Vegas. Charles Wright still lives in Vegas. I'm just saying it'll be a short drive. So go Papa Shango in there, yeah, baby. I love it. The women's world champion, the 3-way with Io as our current champion versus Rhea and Bianca. This could be a good one. I still see Rhea going away with it.
Yeah, I think Rhea's gonna go over again. I still think it's gonna be a hell of a match. It's like all 3 of the ladies in there that we know they can tear the house down.
Yeah,
and it's like, this is a stacked match, and I'm here for this one. Yeah, it's the audience wins this one as far as I'm concerned.
I think so. I almost wonder if this is gonna kick off the show.
I could almost see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
The next one, I know you are too. The Intercontinental 4-way. Braun Breaker is our current champion versus Finn Balor versus Penta versus Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, this one I think. I think overall, I think night 2 is stronger than night 1 match wise.
I agree.
It's like, and it's matches like this that really put it there, because it's like all 4 of these guys too. Like it's like, love him or hate him, Dominic Mysterio's got in-ring ability. Every single one of those in there have in-ring ability and are, if they are not already legends, they will be legends.
Right.
There's just, it's good. This one's going to be one of those like matches people look back on and call it a classic, like those Intercontinental Razor Ramon ladder matches. WrestleMania. Yeah.
And see, we've got such a great kind of swath of everything, because, of course, Braun's a very traditional collegiate kind of worker, power worker, things like that. Whereas Finn's kind of like, he's a technician, he's a utility sort of guy. And then Penta and Dominic have the lucha style, whereas Penta is very versatile in kind of stuff he can do.
Yeah.
So, it's weird that you've got this 4-way match and you got Braun and Dominic Mysterio, and Braun is the greenest guy in the group.
Yeah, that is weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but still, yeah, I think this could be a solid match here. So I'm looking forward to it. This women's tag match. That's P break number one there, definitely.
Yeah. I'm not too hot on this one at all, really.
I mean,
Yeah.
I like Liv as a heel. I think she kind of brings back that old Tammy Stitch stuff, Smoky Mountain Wrestling kind of feel to it. It's
Yeah.
like you love to hate her. You want to call her all the horrible skanks and sluts and kind of nasty kind of stuff like that. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria is a weird team because like Lyra's women's IC champ right now, and it just the whole kind of shunking her in with Bailey just kind of feels forced.
Yeah, no, this one just I'm with you. It's P break time. It's like I think it'll be a 10-minute match and we're going to be done with it. And it's
unless they're trying to build something where like they're trying to build like a Bailey versus Lyra Valkyria feud, which that on the other hand I can get on board with because Bailey's a great worker, and I love Lyra. She is one of my favorites of like the new crop of female wrestlers. Like she is teeny tiny, but she is friggin' intense. And because she's so cut, you can believe it.
Yeah.
So it's like she's like a lot of the I've been guilty of this too. Of like I'm not a big fan of the Japanese women wrestlers because they look tiny and they don't have a lot of them don't have a lot of definition. So they look like they're going to fall apart. But in fact, of course, they are very highly trained. But it's the appearance sort of thing, and that's a big part of wrestling is the appearance. Whereas like Lyra looks like she's been carved from stone. She's 4 foot nothing, but she's mighty, kind of like Jordan Grace. So. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking. I'm looking forward if they're going to do something with Bailey and Lyra. I'm not necessarily looking for this tag match. So I don't see Bailey and Lyra going over. I think Liv and Raquel will retain.
Yeah.
So and then Styles and Logan Paul. Again, another. Go ahead. Yeah.
No. I was going to say this one. It's like on paper I should hate it. But I'm actually kind of weirdly looking forward to it. And it's like, I'm not a Logan Paul fan as a person, but it's like, we were talking about it on Smokes and Road Beers last night. Like he's got in-ring talent, and AJ Styles is one of the best to ever step in the ring right there too. So it's like, I think this match could be a dark horse contender for another great match.
It could definitely be the show stealer we weren't expecting. Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And it's like there's going to be crazy stuff going on in this one because both of them are borderline insane with what they're willing to put their bodies through.
Absolutely, and that's the thing too is that this match also feels like it was kind of thrown together at the last minute, but it's like it's two workers. So like Logan is very athletic and agile. So is AJ. So it's like we can see some interesting spots in this match here. So. I don't know. Like I'm kind of the same way with you. Like, okay.
Yeah. It's like I'm here for it. Yeah.
Oh, and Martin says the 4 ways right up his alley there with some Mex legends in there. Yeah, Penta.
Oh yeah.
And the thing I love too is that WWE has, of course, we've got Phoenix over on SmackDown now. Penta's on Raw, but in the commentary we've said they're brothers. They're the Lucha Brothers. They're former tag team champs in multiple companies. So it's like. Okay, let's get them together. Let's do it.
It's going to happen.
Absolutely. Kevin Riedel, good to see you there. Do as Triple H says, F off and stop criticizing his show. Yeah, I'm going to criticize. Oh, criticism is good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, lastly, this is the one I could almost kind of pass on. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest in the street fight.
Really?
Drew McIntyre, I love. Damian Priest does nothing for me.
You're not a bisexual Undertaker fan.
I wish he'd go back to being Punishment Martinez.
I do like the Punishment Martinez name a lot better. But this one, I'm weirdly looking forward to. It's like I think it's going to be a fun one.
Dude, the only time I really started liking Damian is about let's see here. For about 2 weeks after WrestleMania last year, because when he won the belt, and then of course he's starting to come out dressed like, like he's still in his style, but he's in a suit. He's looking like a champion. He's looking a little more grown up, even though he's with the Judgment Day and they're all still kids playing video games and stuff. It's like he's looking a little more man-like, and then like very quickly drops that, and they drop the belt, and then we're back to the same priest we've dealt with. So like, shit or get off the pot with this guy. Are you going to push him or you're not going to push him? You're going to do something with him. You're not going to do something with him. But it's like, let's go with him. If we're not going to do it with him, fire him and let him go someplace else and develop, then come back. It's like, but we need something more. There's like, physically he's impressive. He can certainly work in the match. He's got a good voice, but his promos, not that exciting. His character, not that exciting.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. That's just me. That's me. Martin says he'll confess he's not really interested in the Cena or the Logan Paul match. Okay. Sure. Like I said, I kind of hope the Logan Paul match kind of proves us wrong, because it's like, I'm with you. He's a garbage human being from how he presents himself on social media. But when it comes to wrestling as a heel, the kid gets the assignment, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
He works. You hate him. You want him to get beaten up. I mean, it's like, that's a heel.
Yeah.
I hate that kid. I want to see him get beaten up. Oh,
right.
He can work,
right.
And he can work in the ring too. Okay, well, there you go. Yes, Bradley. So yeah, it is Jake Paul's brother.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep. That's the same dude. So yeah, matter of fact, Logan's tried to get Jake Paul into the company. I think Jake is still enjoying boxing right now, so he's not quite ready to transition as a wrestler. But yeah, basically Logan has tried to work and try to get Jake into the company as well. So.
Yeah, once Jake finishes up fighting a bunch of retired boxers, maybe we'll look at it.
I mean, I could call myself a badass boxer if I beat up dude that are 30 years older than me. So,
no shit. Ugh.
Yeah. And Bradley, to answer your question, it was Jake Paul that fought Tyson on Netflix. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you want to talk about a match that was worked more in a wrestling match? Yeah. that match was. I respect Netflix for trying to do a live sporting event before they do the wrestling stuff, but good God, that was a disgrace to the sport of boxing.
That was just brutal. That should not have happened. That should not have been allowed to happen. That was
I would have much rather seen like Danny Bonaducci and Screech go at it again.
Yeah, celebrity boxing on Fox had more integrity. Yeah,
they did. Yeah.
And that's saying something.
It is. There you go. We kind of flew through it there, but that's kind of our WrestleMania wrap up there for this year. And like I said, WrestleMania is still, it's the pageantry. It's still a fun thing. I saw the glimpse of what the set looks like, and I'm like, good God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the spectacle alone is always something, it's like, it's like I would, it's like we're trying to make plans to go up to whenever it comes to Indianapolis in the next few years to see it, to be a part of it. It's like just as a bucket list thing, and it's like, I just to be, I can't imagine what it would look like, just being there in person, after seeing it so long in just pictures and TV. Like I can't wait to see the full thing, because every year is always something special.
Absolutely, yeah. And of course, now as we get older, it will be the array of celebrities or singers that sing America the Beautiful, or if they do the national anthem or whatever else. That was the other thing too. Last year they did the national anthem. Vince always liked America the Beautiful better, so I was like, ooh, that was a change. Yeah. So that was the first thing I noticed. Like, oh, we are not in the Vince McMahon era anymore, because we don't open WrestleMania with America the Beautiful. It's like, holy shit. We're in a new neighborhood here. But it'll be the array of celebrities of who's that. Yes. So. Yeah.
Because we're not dialed into.
Yeah, I mean, unless they bring out Macaulay Culkin again. I mean, I know that kid. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, the kid from Home Alone.
Yeah. Know him. Yep. Know him. Or bring out Gabriel Iglesias, who's like, yeah, no Fluffy. Yeah, we're good here. But like basically like they bring out Travis Scott, like. Okay, I know he's a hip hop artist. He had a combo meal at McDonald's, but that's about all I know about him.
Right? Yeah, I was about to say, it's like the most I know is the combo meal and that documentary about how a bunch of people died at his.
Oh yeah. People got trampled at his concert. He didn't stop the show. Yeah. Smooth move, kid. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Kevin asking, will we give our star ratings for each match next week? The answer is no, because my name is not Dave Meltzer. And star ratings are douchey. So basically, what the rating is: did I like the match, or did I not like the match, or is the match amazing? Or is it really terrible? But yeah, star ratings. No. That's for Meltzer heads there, and yeah, I can do without Dave Meltzer.
Fair.
Yeah, wrestling's world's oldest teenager. Nothing. Yeah, so not a fan. Anywho, but yeah, so again, yeah, I'm looking forward to the show, and of course, I look forward to hanging out with the boys too. That's really the peak of everything, is that the Horsemen get to hang out in person and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, it's that's the thing. It's like just getting to hang out with the boys for a few hours, and like just to, just to be our goofy selves. Yeah, and just man, it's like Operation Mindcrime that night was great, even if we barely survived it. But
oh, yeah, you guys didn't get to hear this. So, last week was a busy week because we didn't have a show, but I was.
Oh yeah. We didn't get to cover it.
Yeah, I was in Chicago for C2E2 for one day, and let me tell you, folks, I thought I was ready. I was not. That con, that's no moon. It's a space station. I thought I've been to freaking Wizard Worlds in Chicago and Cincinnati. It's like I thought I'd been to big. No, C2E2 was big, but it was awesome. And I will say I tried. I ran out of time to try to get Eric Larson's autograph, but his line was really long. And there was a dude that wouldn't shut up. But I was standing literally, mere inches away from Eric Larson, and he was being very generous with this guy who wouldn't shut up, with listening to him and answering his questions and such like that. But I was like, can you just move out there? I want to get an autograph from my best friend who loves your work. So he was the only signature I was trying to get. I couldn't get him.
I appreciate you trying. I really do. Yeah, there's always that fan though that's always there ahead of you that's doing something. I remember at Comic Book World they had Frank Cho was going to be signing there.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I remember going there, and it's like this was right when his Sheena the She Devil, the whatever Marvel one it did.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Sheena. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like I went there, and it's like I got them all signed and everything, and there was this one dude that like people would like come up to his table and get like their signatures and ask him questions, and this dude behind the table would answer. And so it's like me and my buddy Jason like were there together, and like I thought he was like this dude was just like this guy was like Frank Cho's handler. No, this was just a fan that had just took it upon himself to be like creepy, latch on to Frank Cho, and it was very bizarre in hindsight. But don't be that fan, y'all. Don't be that fan.
Yeah, I would grab that dude by the back of the collar. I was like, "Can I talk to you outside, please?"
Yeah.
God. Martin, thank you, sir. He gives us 5 stars for not doing star ratings. Yeah, there you go, buddy. And Martin says he plans to sit down with his dogs, his Mexican father-in-law, and that's about it. One thing he loves about wrestling: the wives leaving the home. See, I bring my wife to shows so she can people watch, because that's how she gets off. She likes people watching, and there's great people watching at wrestling shows, especially if you're going to small shows in gyms and armories.
Yeah. And Michelle has a standing invite to any wrestling event at Manhammer Mansion that she wants to attend.
And she always knows, but she's like, "No, it's okay. You boys hang out." It's like, look, you're just scared to hang out and watch wrestling with a bunch of dudes, and it's okay. It's okay.
I imagine what I kind of imagine it would be like. There was one WCW pay-per-view that we watched at your house. And and I can't remember what it was, but it was you, me, Brian, a couple of other dudes, and Tiffany. Tiffany was the only one.
My sister.
George's sister Tiffany. And then like about midway through, she comes out of the bathroom and she's like, "You can tell there's a bunch of dudes in here because the toilet seat is just sprinkled with yellow droplets." And it's like, okay, yeah, we are foul men. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. In Manhammer Manor, we don't have to worry about keeping the seat down. So there you go.
We pee with the door open and just tell each other not to come back down the hallway.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. Unless you're Steve, and then you do some kind of weird ritual in the bathroom. But yeah. Anyway.
That's a different thing. We're not going to talk about crab legs. But what we are going to talk about, though, is, like I said, we the Horsemen did get to venture out to the lovely Mercury Ballroom in Louisville, Kentucky, to see the performance of Operation Mindcrime in its full. Jeff Tate, the former lead singer of Queensryche, with his band of young musicians, which were fantastic.
Wonderful, yeah. Oh man.
But man, Jeff, for a dude it blew me away that Jeff Tate's he's in his late 60s. He's pushing 70, and he still looks great. The voice is there, everything, man.
Yeah, he was on point the entire night, hitting the notes. It was. And the Mercury Ballroom sounds kind of like crap, acoustically, really. But no, it's like they were wonderful. They were tuned perfectly for it. Their sound guy. Got to give props to him because he made chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Absolutely.
Sure. And
the one sad fact we found is that when you get four dudes who are either at the age of 50 or pushing 50, is that we can't stand on concrete for 3 hours without sitting down. And if we don't do it, by the end of that 3-hour show, you're going to see four dudes hobbling out of the club. And that's exactly what you saw.
Yeah, we were limping, man. It was pitiful. It was so pitiful.
I was like, okay, so next time we go to a show, we gotta spring for the seats. We can't do the general admission stuff anymore. Oh, and then poor you, you're trying to get in the car, you got a Charlie horse. So then
I got a terrible leg cramp trying to get in the car. It's like I had to make Steve switch sides with me so that I could angle myself to where I didn't have to move my leg just so that we could leave. Because you all were in the car and I'm trying to hobble and walk it off. And I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all, I'm sorry.
No, but it's fine. I was like, man, that's how you know, man. It's like, okay, okay, we gotta spring for the seats next time.
Yeah.
Oh man, but of course, dinner at Blue Crab was a lot of fun, man.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Our friend Steve, he was insistent that we ate at this restaurant, and he was, because he had DoorDashed and picked up from it before, and he comes in and proudly displays to us the menu. This is what they have. That's what the menu is.
Yeah, they got Cajun boiled bags there, so I can get some crawfish, or I get crab legs, or whatever else in a boiled bag. Cool. Oh, okay, nice. Yeah. Come to find out, Steve's never had one of those boiled bags before. It would be a first-time event for him, but he made it sound like he knew what he was talking about when he got in there. So watching Steve try to navigate a boiled bag for the very first time,
being presented with his food that was a boil bag, he's expecting it to be presented in a tray, he got some fish and chips, and it's just bag.
There's a bag full of food they stick in front of you. They put a bib on you. They give you some gloves and a shell cracker, and go to town, buddy.
And the guy behind the counter had to come and show Steve how to use the shell cracker. He had to give Steve a tutorial on how to eat his dinner.
And also said counter worker gave Steve our new nickname, Crab Legs.
Crab Legs, yes.
So yes.
Yeah, because after Steve had slovenly eaten his meal with it, with the gloves and everything, and his cup with his soft drink in it was just covered in whatever sauce.
Seasonings and everything.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he had to ask for a new cup, and that was when he was christened with the name of Crab Legs. Yeah.
I love it. It's like the guy behind the counter was giving Steve shit as we were all just enjoying it. It's yes, we're gonna have to go there multiple times.
That's gonna be our it's gonna be our spot. We're gonna have to go there
spot
again.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, were they right off Poplar Level?
Yeah, right off of Poplar Level.
Yeah. So we give a little plug. Yeah, we have Blue Crab right from Poplar Level Road,
or Blue Bay is
Blue Bay. I'm sorry, Blue Bay. Yeah. But they get seafood and boiled bags and crab legs and There you go.
Hibachi food. Yeah, like I got the shrimp and chicken. Yeah, it was.
One can die worse than as the legend of crab legs.
That is
Absolutely.
true. That is true. It was a great night, though. It was a great night.
Really. Oh, and Martin, you're turning 53 weeks. Congratulations.
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. Don't go to concerts and stand there for 3 hours at a time. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like I was in comfortable shoes. I took some Advil before the show, thinking I'm ready to go. No.
Yeah, no, we just old. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's weird because like I went to festivals, so I guess if I stand on grass for 3 hours and walk around, it's okay. But concrete, guess not.
Oh, concrete's a whole different animal, and that's because it's like it's like grass or like just regular ground or carpet or something. We probably would have been a lot better, but concrete. I'm flat footed anyway, so
see, there you go.
Yeah,
you could never be a beat cop.
No.
Oh, and Martin says another very good thing about Mexico: no one expects a clean toilet unless you have paid 5 pesos.
Oh,
so you got to pay. Not even the latest. You got to pay 5 pesos to get a clean toilet. All right.
Now I'm just imagining the toilet in Desperado. That you remember that? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, God bless Robert Rodriguez. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we have goofed around here enough this evening. What do you think, sir?
I think so too, and I got some puppies that would like to use the facilities, as it were.
Your puppy waiter. Good to see you, brother.
What it is, too sweet. Happy WrestleMania weekend, V. Don't forget to leave out your sixer for Stone Cold, or else he will stun you.
And V will be joining us via texting tomorrow and Sunday for WrestleMania. So.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, because our friend V is on the other side of the world, but nonetheless, he will be still with us in spirit, watching WrestleMania and making all the comments. So, absolutely. So, yes, and happy WrestleMania weekend to you, good sir.
Yes.
All right. Well, that about wraps it up for us this week. So, we will definitely talk about what happened at Mania a little bit next week here, if there's any big stuff, and I'm sure there will be, and the Raw after WrestleMania and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, the whole enchilada, so to speak.
Absolutely, we will talk about that. But otherwise, you all have yourselves a wonderful holiday week, whether you're going to be celebrating Easter or WrestleMania or both. Doesn't matter. Hope you have a wonderful weekend here. Oh, we are international though. Oh, well, that is true. Yeah, we have friends in. Well, see, now we got our new friend in Mexico here with Martin. We got some friends in Australia, and of course V.
We are worldwide, baby.
And to keep V's anonymity, we won't say where V is, but V's on another part of the world as well. So there you go. So yes. I'm happy. We are happy to be international geeks here, and welcome to the table to all geeks here. So that's the thing. The Fanatic Forum is the home for geeks here for all facets. Doesn't matter what you're into. We love sharing our joys with geekdom with you guys. We want you all to share yours with us. So we love the interaction, everything. So so thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you very much for Martin tuning in, for Bradley, for V, for Kevin, for
everybody.
Bill. Yes, thank you guys. We appreciate all the interaction as well here. So you guys have yourselves an outstanding evening. The eternal question is answered of who let the dogs out. The answer is Mr. Manhammer. So we will leave you all with a word from our sponsor, Comic Books for Kids. So you all have a wonderful evening, and we will see you guys next week on the Fanatic Forum. TTFN.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, We are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Troops, and overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.